Tonight's special guest is Duncan Loney. Duncan is the man in charge of the Bakels New Zealand Supreme Pie Awards. From 504 entries, we have a winner. It's a mince and cheese pie, and it took out the Supreme Award. Congratulations to David Liam from Greenland Bakery and Cafe in Botany. We welcome Duncan Loney as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. It's a very big welcome to Duncan Loney.
A pleasure to be here, Joe.
Welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Thank you.
And in fact today, look at that.
That's a beautiful
Duncan,
pie.
It's going to be The Pie Goes On today, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, you're here today, Duncan, because here in New Zealand we have a great competition called the Supreme Pie Awards, is it?
Yes, that's it.
It was only 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, that
That's
it all
right.
happened?
Yeah.
And there was a winner?
There was a winner indeed, and this is one of the winning pies straight from that bakery.
And we get to taste it.
You're a lucky man,
so
eh?
we'll represent the average pie eater in New Zealand. First of all, we'll have a little bit of history. Duncan, your history in the business, you've been, you're a baby boomer, of course.
Absolutely.
When did you enter this wonderful world?
1946.
1946.
So that's pretty soon afterwards,
yeah.
A real
I was
baby
1
boomer.
year behind you.
1 year behind? Okay.
It's been a great generation, hasn't it? The baby
Well, I think
boomers.
so, but yeah.
We always ask the big test, what was your favourite group, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Oh, the Beatles. By a long shot, yes. Way ahead.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I like the Beatles too.
Yeah. I mean, the Rolling Stones have had longevity that the Beatles haven't had, but for music, for the variety, for the sheer quality, I think.
We've just upset 50% of our Now, the idea... No, what about NZ Bakels? Who is NZ Bakels? That's you're the general manager?
I'm the executive chairman these days, but I've been through
that's a bit higher.
That's a bit higher still, But I started as a technical advisor in 1975 and have been through the sales manager, the general manager, managing director, and now I'm sort of getting to the stage where I'm moving out a bit really, so I'm the executive chairman today. We have another general manager who's looking after all the day-to-day running.
Who came up with the idea of having a Supreme Pie Award, and why would they come up with the idea of having this big contest? How did that work?
I guess that originated not from us, but Abels, if you remember the Abels company.
Abels,
Big fats and oils business, locally owned at the time. When they sold out, they sold off their sort of margarine business, and eventually it went through a couple of hands, but eventually it ended up in our hands. So they had this pie competition previously, and we restarted it up and cranked it up 17 years ago now. So that's where it started from. So it wasn't us that really started it.
Now, when it comes to pies, baby boomers, we've got a great history with pies, haven't we? I've grown up with them, and it's there.
Still going on, I
Let's
hope.
look at what's available. In the average dairy that we go to, you've got, I think the big one is probably Irvine's, would that be right?
Irvine's, Big Ben.
Big Ben, and then there's Mrs. Mac. And
Mrs. Mac is there, yeah.
How many other brands are there?
Oh, no, there's quite a few. Yeah. So, and some of them are regional. Yeah. So you have Makatu pies, you have Jimmy's pies down south. If I forgot to mention them, I'm sure I'd be in trouble.
Then you've got Georgie Pie now, it's come back.
Oh, Georgie Pie's back.
So what is it?
So there are many others too.
What is it about a pie that's... it's so tempting, isn't it? It's the combination of meat and the
pastry.
And the pastry, of course,
yeah. Oh, I think it's just an appealing combination. Oh, the history goes way back. I mean, they go back to almost Egyptian times. And really the history was that it was like a way to preserve meat.
Oh, okay.
And so the pastry was actually thrown away from historical times. They just preserved the meat inside a dryish sort of pastry that couldn't get infected or anything like that.
Okay.
So that was the history, really.
And then people started eating the pastry as well as
the pastry got so good that people started eating the pastry as well. So it changed completely. So if you go a long way back.
Along with the big 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, there's hundreds of places around New Zealand where a guy says, or a guy or a girl, they say, I'd like to make a pie that's a winner. And then, but how can you tell if you haven't got a pie contest?
Exactly,
So,
exactly. And we had record entries this year, 505 different bakeries entering pies. Now that wouldn't be all of them, but that's getting up there. I think one of the things is that people recognise what a huge boost it is to their business if they win a gold medal or win something, a good award in these pie awards. So
it does
they
pay
get
off,
a big boost to their business. I've just been to see the winner here, David Liam at Greenland, and he's flat out. Because so many people have gone in to try his winning pie.
Wow. So out of 504 entries, David Liam, and he's in Botany, isn't he?
Botany, Greenland Bakery Botany.
Greenland Botany, he won the Supreme Prize.
Yes, he did.
Tell us about the night and how it all unfolded.
It's probably the biggest night on the food calendar, really. Yeah. We run through all the other categories. We hand out the gold awards to all the individual categories, including the mince and cheese. Yeah. And then we finally announce the
winner at the end of the night.
The winner at the end of the night of the overall award.
If you had to give any advice to a baker, what sort of pie should you make to win the Supreme Prize? Is there any rhyme or reason about what's going to win this year as opposed to last year? Is there any pattern emerging?
No, not really. Not really. Prior to this, we had 2 years of gourmet fruit pies winning, which was a real revelation. The same bakery, the bakery in Kihi. They make a really good job of their fruit pies. They really do.
Now, who are the judges? Who gets to do the judging?
Can we get industry judges? You certainly can volunteer. Whether you get selected or not, that's another matter. But, no, we take industry judges, so people who have either been in the competition or had experience in it, food technologists. So we have a real range of people that we use for that, and there's a few changes every year. And our chief judge is from the North Shore Technical College, and he's very experienced. And so we have a whole range of them from all over New Zealand.
Now, it's not just money, is it? We had David Liam, who, as you said, is just inundated with people. There's a great deal of pride in winning this, isn't there?
Oh, yes,
yeah. I think that's the big feature, isn't it?
That is a big feature, but it does provide a big boost to their business. So they want to win just for their business as well. So people are very keen to get on the podium, I can tell you.
So I think it's time that, I've been talking to you, Duncan, and my left eye's been
focused on that pie. Eh?
I purposefully didn't have anything to eat today. I know it's night time now, so so let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Let's put that aside, and we'll take the pie.
Yep.
So when we cut a pie, what are we looking for?
First you
look at that.
You like to have a wee bit of crunch in the top pastry, just to make sure that it gives you some texture.
Oh, look
and
at
then,
that.
The base has to hold up in a pie warmer, so the base has to hold the pie together effectively, but still be nice to eat. And then, of course, for the mince and cheese, you want to get that delightful balance between the cheese and the mince. So you don't want one overpowering the other, which sometimes happens. There's not quite enough good flavour in the mince, or the cheese is a bit lightly flavoured. So you need to get that nice balance in there. So
what did David tell you about this pie? How did he make this particular one? It's a cheese and mince pie, which is standard, isn't it?
That's one of the most popular categories. So you have two flavours that really stand out for the most entries. Yeah. And the first one is steak and cheese, closely followed by mince and cheese. I
have a great love of potato top pies. How do they go in the competition?
Well, they don't. I'm sorry to say.
Do you like potato top pies?
I don't mind them, but they're
why aren't they making a more
potato top pie? We don't have a category for them. Yeah. And one of the reasons we don't is that they're rather more fragile. They don't travel quite as well. Pie is a very robust thing. You've got pastry, it's sealed, and the meat is all sealed inside. It's very robust. Potato top doesn't travel quite so well, so it's a wee bit more difficult to get them up from the South Island and into them in good condition. So we've never really had one, but you're not the first one to query that.
Well, look, here we go, Duncan. So I'll take a little bit. Here is the big test. Should
Right.
this pie have won the Supreme Pie Award of New Zealand? So here we go. Beautiful.
It is a beautiful pie, isn't it?
Yeah, they got it right, didn't they?
They did get it right. They got it exactly right. And that one stood out amongst the finalists.
Oh.
You know? Good. Once we've done all the gold awards for the teams of judges have done all the gold awards for each category, then those final ones come to a separate judging panel, which is the judging panel that I sit on, and we go through these final pies, and that one stood out, I must say.
How come you're so thin, Duncan? You only have a slice of a little bit of each.
Well, when you're trying the pies in the competition, yes, it's only a small bit.
Yeah.
Only a small piece, about the size that you took there. So
I love it. I love it. So we're going to put this aside, and after the show's finished, I'm going to get
You're
into
going to
that
finish
pie.
that. I'll bet you are. Yeah, I would too.
And the other 27 dozen you bought, I'll finish those as well.
Oh, no, you can't have them. They're for our family dinner tonight. After every pie awards, when we have a family dinner, I have to go and buy some winning pies and take them to families.
Let's look at David Liam. And how would you spell the Liam? It's David...
It's L-I-E-M.
L-I-E-M.
Yeah.
And he's got, as you say, Greenland Bakeries in...
Greenland Bakery and Cafe.
In
Botany. Yep.
So this is the first time David's won?
It's the first time that bakery has won the Supreme Award.
He has won other prizes.
They've had many golds and silvers and everything up until then. But of course there is an interesting history with him, because previously, up until about 3 years ago, his brother Bill owned that bakery and ran that bakery. And now he's handed it on to David, and Bill shifted to a new bakery in Pukekohe. And so Bill is still baking just as well, but David seemed to have pipped him on this occasion. So. But they work very much.
Well, let's salute David. What a
yes.
wonderful, he's done a wonderful job.
Sorry, wrong hand.
Yeah, wrong hand.
Yeah.
And as you say, this will do wonders for David's business by winning this prize this year.
Oh yeah, he'll be busy. He will be really busy. I went and picked up these pies just at lunchtime today, and there was a queue along his serving counter, and the whole cafe was full. It was packed. So no, he'll be busy.
Well, let's make it even worse for David. Say to all our viewers, if you're out in Botany, go to the Greenland Bakery and tell David you saw his pie being eaten on The Beat Goes On. Yeah. And what about next year? I mean, as soon as one contest's finished, of course, or competition, you start planning for next year.
Oh, we do. Yeah. We do.
And you held it in Auckland this year?
Yes.
Is it held at different places?
No, we always hold it in Auckland because it makes sense for us, for judging and our site and facilities and things. So no, it's always held in Auckland, but we do try and make sure that everyone can get their pies there in good condition. So we arranged to freight South Island pies up from Christchurch. Next year we will do the same thing for Wellington. We haven't traditionally done that, but we will arrange a central place, and then we will package them up and ship them up. So make sure that everyone has a good go. But this year the prizes were well spread. And we were delighted this year to have one from Wanganui, one from Wellington, and 2 from Christchurch. So that's a good spread, and then the rest around the North Island. So no, we were very happy with the spread, but we have no influence over it.
Well, as the judge for 2014, I'd like to say thank you for coming. I'm going to be the judge for 2014. Somewhere I'm going to get in there.
You're going to get in there. Okay.
Thank you very much, Duncan.